Hello and welcome back to another 10-minute investor eye test with Arcanum Ventures. I'm Melo and this is my good friend and comrade Sasha. And today we're going to be looking at Portal to Bitcoin, or the PTB token, the only custodyless cross-chain infrastructure for native Bitcoin where you can swap BTC, ETH, Solana, and any other L1 or L2. Sasha, do you know anything about Portal to Bitcoin?
I don't know anything about Portal to Bitcoin. Um, it's an interesting name, custodyless interoperability. I guess that's pretty cool. I mean, that's like the point of all interoperability protocols that we've seen trying to go to market, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I told you right before we started filming, but the only thing I know about this is that it's been delayed infinitely, like for a few years, and that people are clamoring for the token to finally launch. So I guess that's finally happening today. I don't know much more about it. I do know that there was this obsession with layer twos on Bitcoin and interoperability with Bitcoin last year, trying to bridge into that system for DeFi purposes. Maybe these guys are the team to do it. Maybe not. We don't know. So I guess we could just dive in and try to figure out what this P2B token does, how they were able to raise so much money with it, and what they're going to ultimately aim to fix in the space that hasn't been addressed yet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, well, Bitcoin's popping off, the narrative's strong, so hopefully, more Bitcoin infrastructure could be good.
Yeah, absolutely. So
And for those of our viewers that aren't familiar with the concept, we take 10 short minutes to dive into a Web3 blockchain or crypto startup that's launching a token and determine if that token would be a good investment for us. So make sure you stick around the end when we give our verdicts. Yeah. And without any further ado, you ready to dive in, Melo?
yeah, let's dive in.
All right. 10 minutes on Portal to Bitcoin, starting right meow, boom. And we've got Crypto Rank up here with their page. Looks like they're launching an IEO, initial exchange offering, or that's happening today. And I already see some big names here for funds and backers. Wow,
Yep.
incredible. Coinbase, Shima, Republic, OKX, Arrington, Gate, Autonomy. Wow, this is a pretty impressive cap table. It looks very institutional.
You know what's weird too? On the bottom, Paloma Investments. I've never heard of it in my entire life, but I saw a weird pop up for Portal earlier saying they invested $50 million themselves. So they're not a tier one investor, but uh, they clearly have a lot of capital. Maybe nobody's heard of them. Maybe this is their first Web3 investment, but they supposedly put in 50 million. And if you look over at the total raise, I think that's over half of the raise. They claim to have $92.5 million raised for this so far. I don't know if
Oh
that
my
factors
goodness.
in the ICO that they're having today with Gate Launchpad. But yeah, that's quite a bit of money, quite a bit of investment. I'm not sure why they need that much money.
That's very interesting, and that apparently was just announced here, maybe even publicly made known a
A
few
few
days
days.
ago. Yeah, wow. So yeah, nothing I know about Paloma Investments, but might be worth looking into, diving into them, and seeing what they're doing and what they've been doing.
Yeah.
Might be something really sketchy. Who knows?
Or one of those weird OTC deals.
Yeah, but it looks like they've got maybe an undisclosed round. We can't see, but yeah, I mean, if they're raising this much money against the token supply, then we would probably see a very high valuation on that token, right? We're seeing an 8.4 billion total supply here, and according to Crypto Rank user reported information, close to 93 million. So I wonder if some of these early investors got in on equity, and maybe they have some token exposure.
It doesn't say any valuation, but it does say that over a fifth of the rewards, oh no, a quarter of all rewards are going to LP rewards. Sorry, a quarter of all tokens will go to LP
Oh yeah,
rewards. And then
wow.
another 11 and change percent will go to validator. So this is a chain, officially a chain. So that's like
Interesting.
a third of all tokens going out as rewards for one thing or another. They have. I'm not going to fault them here because this is just maybe a crypto rank issue or how they reported it. But 32% going to other doesn't look great.
Yeah.
And then 10% to community, which is I'm guessing another reward type.
Maybe like some sort of airdrop, but it's interesting. LP rewards that ties into the narrative of, we see that a lot with interoperability protocols. They need to power liquidity to enable transactions cross chain. So I assume that's what's happening here as well. But let's go ahead and dive into the website. I've got it up right here, and let's see what this is all about. Boom, portal to Bitcoin. This is,
Kind of
wow,
cool.
about to have a seizure or something.
Yeah, I don't love that they don't have a call to action really, but that's a pretty
Hmm.
cool website. They got products, infrastructure, about okay, so they got their
Yeah,
own
so they've got
wallet, liquidity
Swap
router.
SDK,
It's pretty cool.
super intelligence for assets across classes. Interesting. That'd be fun to dive into. But yeah, the infrastructure, they got Portal OS and Bitscaler. I've heard about this before, and apparently Bitscaler is some sort of underlying technology that Portal to Bitcoin's built on.
Yeah.
Um, and oh, they even have a careers page. We never see that. Let's check out what that looks like. Jobs. Oh, there's no jobs. What a sham.
Yeah,
Oh
we've
my
talked about
goodness.
that in the past before, kind of as a joke, but kind of seriously. But if you see a team that's like hiring a bunch of people, they're either very diligent and they believe that they're going to grow and they want to hire a bunch of people and they have the capital, or maybe they're careless and they're just hiring a bunch of people and going to have to lay them off in a few months when they realize they overhired.
Or maybe they're like like fake job postings to
Yeah.
feign company health. But I see that Portal is transforming Bitcoin from digital gold to the settlement layer for millions of markets. I wonder if that's a settlement layer built on Bitcoin, turning it into a kind of Ethereum global supercomputer. That's like what the point of Ethereum is. But yeah, they've got these two main products: Portal OS, which is the bridgeless multi-chain infra for
Hmm.
validators, and it comes with L1 and L2 nodes supported by the liquidity router. Okay, so that's interesting. And then Bitscaler is the trustless multi-party channel solution for scaling Bitcoin for DeFi and beyond. So that's exactly what we're talking about, right? That might be the actual compute layer that is, or infrastructure for the compute layer being built on
Yeah.
Bitcoin as the settlement layer. Yeah, and lots of partners, right? Like a lot of recognizable names. See BitSmiley, Mint Layer, Veller, Glyph, but they've got BitSmiley twice. That's cheating, guys.
And they have Satoshi VM. I think that was the really controversial launch that happened on Coin Terminal or Ape Terminal back then. A lot of these are like, I assume they're dead Bitcoin layer two projects. Like, I haven't heard a peep out of that entire ecosystem or narrative for quite some time now. It looks like Portal to Bitcoin is one of the only ones that's still around and kicking and looking to doing quite well. And I think just to touch on something you said before for the airdrop, I do remember that they have a pretty sizable airdrop happening on Kaito, I believe. So I think there's a lot of people talking about it on Twitter, but maybe it's because of this 11% rewards for airdrops.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot to unpackage there on like what this marketing strategy could look like.
Yeah.
But diving back in there, I guess four main product pillars. They've got, like I said, the liquidity router, so bridges liquidity hub for assets built on Bitcoin layers. And I'm not very familiar with Bitcoin L2s or scaling solutions or VMs, right? So maybe this is critical infrastructure for allowing Bitcoin to work, like, for example, how all the L2s work on Ethereum, right? And so
Yeah.
maybe that's like infrastructure that needs to be in place, and Portal to Bitcoin might be one of the first ones to build it. But this one's interesting, Swap SDK. So this is what they're talking about, using Bitcoin as a settlement layer, developed for any chain or virtual machine and seamlessly access Bitcoin's liquidity. So basically, you could build a blockchain network anywhere, but use Bitcoin's security and access to liquidity for the settlement layer, which seems like a good idea because so much institutional capital and interest is developing for Bitcoin. And it's like obviously going to be a front runner for a very long time, if not forever. And then we've got the Portal wallet and um, Rafa, which is generative AI for crypto. Get your own team of AI agents to maximize your crypto investing. Everyone's doing that, man.
Yeah, that seems like a lazy add on. But the Portal wallet, it
Yeah.
says a cross chain DEX on there too. That's pretty cool. For
Yeah, that's
no,
fantastic.
the Portal wallet. I think it said something.
Oh,
Maybe you can do like native swaps on the wallet, cross chain decks, runes, ordinals, and more are coming.
wow.
Oh yeah, I remember when runes and ordinals were all the rage, and now another thing I don't ever hear about anymore, except for maybe some niche community that's obsessed with those. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, there's
absolutely.
mention of Kaito up
Well,
there too.
we still haven't seen anything around the token itself, but they have a publication section. So I'm wondering if there's some interesting things we could find out here. So the first thing and the latest thing is Tokenomics technical analysis by Dr. John Conley, PhD. Interesting. And so I'm wondering, like, what does this technical report kind of highlight? Because we haven't seen use cases, but this is a third-party report, maybe launched about a year ago, right?
Yeah,
And it looks very academic in nature with headers that are way too large, though.
yeah, it's a little bit new. I haven't seen like
I've just noticed.
nobody's really normalized publishing third party audits of token economic systems, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of interesting because I don't know, we have to dive back in the website, but this is like a very technical evaluation of maybe the token itself and how it fits into the protocol. And obviously you can see a lot of math equations. This might go over a lot of people's heads just over a few short minutes. But we have no idea in what it's referenced to because we don't know what the use cases are yet. Obviously there's validators, there's consensus for the protocol. Hmm, interesting.
Yeah, I
This
think
might be worth diving into a
it's an
little bit
appropriate
later.
time to mention that we don't have nearly enough time to rip through this or fully understand everything in 10 minutes. Some people get mad at us in the comment section sometimes saying, you got it all wrong, or you didn't, you didn't understand, or you didn't even touch on this part, but we do the best we can in 10 minutes. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, 10 minutes. Look at these documents look so official, black and white. So I guess this is a light paper for the Omni-chain liquidity layer portal. And yeah, again, like, this is fantastic information to dive into. Oh, man, we haven't learned anything. Well, yeah, I mean, still nothing on the token or use cases, right? And this is quite uncommon because you usually see things like that being plastered very, very up front and center when it comes to companies that are launching digital assets as part of like fundraising sales. So, well, let's stop it right there. And we've got to respect, I feel like we have to respect our 10 minutes this go round. There's just too much to dive into, right?
yeah,
So
I don't
let's
know.
get into it.
I think like the most important thing, like you said, we obviously don't have enough time to dive into it, but we can at least see that they've made an effort to put that information up there. Like maybe that's a strategy too. Sometimes we see like flood with information, so you don't possibly have enough time to go through it all. But you know, there will be people out there in the crypto sphere that will go in depth researching all of this just to translate it to the community and be the person that's talking about it, especially if there's a Kaito campaign going on. So I'm sure it'll probably be easier to find information about this on Twitter from somebody that's yapping trying to get points for it than the website, even because it will be condensed down and distilled down. But yeah, I think I didn't fully understand what it was until we got halfway through. Like it looks like they're trying to combine a bunch of stuff. Could be useful.
Mm,
I would be the first one to admit that I don't fully understand the need for this sort of thing. I don't know enough about the need for unlocking Bitcoin's liquidity. I think it's liquid enough. I think it's an adequate store of value. I think Bitcoin does exactly what it's supposed to do. I don't know that many people use it to like buy stuff or transact it. It's more about like hoarding it, like a dragon sitting on a pile of gold. So I don't. I think that's part of the reason why this narrative fizzled out a little bit because people realized that they weren't. We weren't ready or we didn't need it that badly. We don't need this bridge to Bitcoin. uh, Everything else. There's so much other stuff going on that is adequate enough. So I like what they've done. It seems interesting. I would like to look more into like the SDK and the wallet, and maybe they're bridging. One useful thing will be bridging together all of these fragmented layer twos on Bitcoin, like the runes and ordinals and all these other things that never really quite took off, and combining that. It's like creating a fix for that fragmentation of liquidity on Bitcoin's ecosystem alone, and then worry about bridging it over and why you might want to do that. So I don't fully understand the need. I would like to look more into this and figure out, like, how many tokens are they giving away? What's the valuation? There's a lot we don't know about it still. So I would give it a thumb sideways, I think. It looks interesting.
Mm.
Don't know enough about it. Don't want to pretend I do know enough about it. So I'll go with that.
All right, interesting. I agree. And I'll start with my thumb sideways. I'm not sure what to think about this. And, you know, like this video format's supposed to be testament to the fact that you cannot do enough due diligence in 10 minutes to figure out if this is a good investment. There's a lot to unpackage here, and the product side's really interesting. So, like,
Yeah.
they've got like the smart liquidity router kind of thing, right? And like you said, you know, there's so much infrastructure now, and there's so much more accountability around centralized exchange operation that like a lot of this is kind of irrelevant now, because most people would maybe prefer transacting on centralized exchanges or using bridges that are popular that everyone's already used. They've stood the test of time. Like from that perspective, Portal to Bitcoin, one of their competitors would be like Wormhole, for example, or some other cross-chain interoperability infrastructure. The AI agent trading thing, I'm going to ignore that. I don't think that's like a very good product. And yet, like you said, it doesn't fit in anywhere else. And again, if people are going to be trading Bitcoin, they're probably not going to be doing it on decentralized infrastructure like this. The majority of that's happening on like centralized infrastructure just because of transaction fees and things like that. And then, you know, like what was it? I think it was like the decentralized exchange stuff in the wallet. Again, I think that's great. That's great infra, and they've got something very, very powerful. But the core thing really is just the idea of like using Bitcoin layer for settlement, using Bitcoin's decentralization and security for settling transactions from different blockchains, and that's really interesting, and that's really cool. But again, I think that was being built during a time when everyone was talking about how Bitcoin with ordinals and runes and scaling solutions is the only future. And like, it's just simply not true. The fact that there are companies that are launching purpose-driven blockchains like a stablecoin blockchain or RWA blockchain or whatever means that all these functions are going to be distributed everywhere. And there's going to be more efficient solutions than just having it on Bitcoin. So that's like conflicting with what the current interest is with Bitcoin. But yeah, like it's definitely worth diving into. All the technical documents have piqued my interest. So I want to understand more about the token, and I want to understand more about the go-to-market strategy, because wondering like where, you know, they're going to launch this on an exchange, but how are they going to use their own infrastructure maybe to facilitate that launch? That would be really cool. So one thumb sideways for me. I might consider looking in more.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think we're both aligned there. And yeah, I mean, one important note too, like it does look like they have a considerable amount of infrastructure and tech that they've developed out, but we are obviously, not only do we not have enough time to vet the tokenomics, but we don't have enough time to vet the tech they've actually built. So it sounds nice on paper, but you know, we'd actually have to look into it more and use it. So like you said, this is a testament to how little DD you can actually do in 10 minutes. It takes, you know, days to properly vet something. The more money you're thinking to invest in something, the more time you need to take in looking into it, looking into the team, the product, you know, the building. If it's a blockchain, like who's building with them? Are they doing hackathons? Are they attracting builders? All these sort of things. What's the sentiment on crypto Twitter? Because Portal to Bitcoin did have some negative sentiment for quite some time. I think people are happier now that they finally launched something. But yeah, I guess good luck to the team. Portal to Bitcoin. We're rooting for you anyways, and I'm definitely going to personally be looking into the white paper and stuff just to better understand what they're doing, see if there's anything innovative or something new that we hadn't considered before. But best of luck to the team. This has been another 10-minute investor eye test from Arcanum Ventures. Sasha and Melo signing off. Join us next week. Like and follow and subscribe and do all the things, and hope to see you next week. Ciao, everybody.
Ciao, y'all.